I'm excited. And we're back. Episode 80, live and direct. We're all coming at you from different angles, just all over the place. I am your host, as always, Matt Musselwhite. I am joined by my co-host, Bryan Kern, live from your local Olive Garden.
Yes, I am. I am at Olive Garden currently, getting served like it's family. Because when you're here, you're family, baby.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. And we have guest comedian Scott Chaplain. What is going on, my man?
What's up, man? Chilling. Nice to be here. Excited to be here.
We just bumped you up one spot because Bryan said stupid shit about Olive Garden family. We kind of burned through all the Olive Garden jokes like 20 episodes ago.
Yeah, we really went through them. We went through them like an old man at all you can eat salad and breadsticks, going through it, you know?
Oh, wow. I thought that was going somewhere else. Oh, shit.
It almost did. It almost did.
So, for the most part, we're a music and entertainment podcast. We usually go through, talk about new music, make fun of bands like a lot. We've been making fun of music festivals lately. There's been a lot of like stinker festivals that I'll say they looked really good. They had a bunch of cool bands and they were poorly executed. Have you gone to any music festivals or concerts this year?
So I have. Yeah. Did you know that? Did you know I went to 2 weeks ago? I went to maybe the best run festival I've ever been to. See Here Now, it was called, in Asbury Park. And the first day Pearl Jam headlined and the second day Smashing Pumpkins headlined.
I've heard of those bands.
Yeah. And then, I guess the first day, who was before them? Like Dr. Dog and Orville Peck. I don't know if you know him. He's like a really good country. He wears a luchador mask.
Whoa.
Kind of sounds like Roy Orbison. Yeah, he's good shit, man.
Roy Orbison? I know that.
Then the second day, Billy Idol, Smashing Pumpkins.
Billy Idol's fire, dude.
Dude, Billy Idol.
Before I die.
Destroyed. Yeah. I've been to a few Billy Idol concerts. My oldest sister is a big fan.
We specialize in like the what do our parents call it? Satanic screamo bullshit music. You know, all those bands that have a screamer and a singer. Whoa, man, that was how me and Bryan like lived life out of high school through like the college years doing that shit. Like that's all the bands we like listen to and cover. And now we're kind of burned out of it, so now we just make fun of them.
I mean, we still listen, but we're definitely more, I would say, educated on the music itself. And obviously being in the scene, we have a little bit more knowledge of what goes on behind not just our scene that we're into, but the music industry entirely. And it just provides so much great content, and I feel like as a performer yourself, you obviously know how it is, right? Once you're in the industry, it's real hard to not be in it. It's real hard to not be in it.
For sure, man. It's your friends, and your friends become family, and becomes the only thing you know.
Like a gang when you're in the entertainment industry in a weird way, regardless.
Well, especially with what you're into, I guess anything that's like, it's more niche. Where is that how you say it? Niche.
Oh yeah, that style of music's definitely niche. That's why we stopped covering 100%, because it's niche. It's like it's cool for the 16-year-olds, but like I try to cover a bunch of hip hop. We're expanding into wrestling. I try to bring on a cam girl, but they all call me a perv when I ask them to come on my podcast. Tried.
But my sister was really into going to shows every weekend. She dated a guy from The Devil Wears Prada. That's a band, right?
Dude.
Oh, no, shit. No, he's wearing a fucking shirt. That's hilarious. That is crazy,
who'd she date?
Brother.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Bring her on.
But then, you bring, and then I go, hey, remember the guy you dated? And then she'll be like, you idiot, I just fucked the guy, like, I don't know what it was, but it was one of them.
Book him. She fucked the dude from Prada. Bring him on.
I've gotten 3 compliments on this T-shirt today.
Now,
shit. Matt, I want to ask you that. Is that just a desert thing? Is that just because we're in the desert, the scene kids are gonna notice the shirt?
Are you at the Westfield Shopping Mall in Palm Desert?
I got one of them there. I'm not there now, but I got one of them there. Yeah.
It's like new meth heads, right? Devil Wears Prada fans are like, at this point, they're like their first year into meth now. Like they weren't doing it then. Yeah. But they decided to go for it now.
Dayton, Ohio is just a gateway to just shit like that.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna keep listening to Tidwhip, I gotta start the meth.
You know they're a Christian band, right?
Who is?
Prada, Devil Wears Prada is a
No
legit
shit.
Christian band.
Wow.
But I still think the meth thing goes along with it too, because like, you know, we started listening to it. We're still alive, but the other people that were listening to it might, you know, they're not on the show.
Yeah, they've given up on it all.
Pretty much.
Okay, so you've been to like Warp Tours and Bamboozles and shit?
I worked Warped Tour 2016 to the point where I hated it and I was okay with it going away.
Oh, damn.
Shout out
Do you
to
think
Bamboozle.
you think there'll be future documentaries about a thing like that? I mean, there probably is already, but I'm talking about ones that people care about.
I don't think. Okay, that's a great question, Mr. Chaplain. That is a great question. We don't usually get a lot of great questions because we usually bring on some scum guests and shit. But no, great question. There won't be, especially about something like Warped Tour, because if you want the real juicy stuff that exists in a VH1 Behind the Music, you're gonna cancel each and every one of these bands. Every single one of them. It's something we talk about like often on the show because of those bands we cover, the young demographic, is a lot of these bands, especially in the pop punk genre, end up preying upon their own fan base and getting involved with underage girls. It would have plagued Warped Tour the way the pandemic expanded cancel culture. If Warped Tour was still a thing, because, you know, it ended like without any controversy. It's just budget cuts and all that shit. It went away like every other rock tour. If it had continued, bro, I think they would have had a hard time booking it. I mean, you had 60 some bands on there. Like, you would have had a lot less. There wouldn't have been anyone left. A lot of bands in 2020 in that scene particularly were canceled. And it's really easy because it's like your whole fan base is underage. So they eventually turn to the dark side and, you know, prey upon them and shit. But no, I don't think you're going to get documentaries because they're not going to be truthful. It's like hype pieces, you know, like you're going to get the shit you see on tour when they hire a videographer. We're not going to get documentaries. We don't even have like big bands anymore. Like if it's not Slipknot, like we don't get like big rock bands. You might get a documentary about Martin Garrix or Marshmello because Fortnite made him insanely popular. But for rock, I think it's dead. I think you can't tell those stories because we worship Guns N' Roses for all their crazy and Motley Crue. But if you know about what bands are doing now, and then it's like, oh, that's like my sister, bro. Yeah, you'd feel a certain way about it.
The reason that it's the way it is because it's a lot of young bands. The Devil Wears Prada, ironically, or coincidentally rather, were really popular because they were all like 17 when they dropped their first album, and it was really, really good.
Super young, super heavy, and super Christian.
Super talented. And you get those certain bands that kind of break through the mold and stick around. They've been together almost 20 years now. Like they're a staple, I think, of this kind of music, right? But the majority of them, they fail because it's just a bunch of kids when they're, 18, 19, 20, starting a band together. And because it is young kids that are into that music, it just perpetuates this, this pocket band kind of mentality. Everybody has these little niche areas of pockets of success that they have like around the country. And then a lot of them break through and they go on your Warped Tours and they go on their national stuff. And, it's similar to like comedy would be, right? But it's it is a lot of an age thing where it's, oh man, a lot of bad decisions, a lot of questionable decisions, a lot of living
cancel
life.
Culture ruined rock and roll, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I think also, these guys, and maybe I'm like throwing stereotypes at them, but they've also like approached being a Predator with like being super like emotional about it, where I feel like Axl Rose wasn't like
he didn't think he
playing with someone's heart. He was just like, are we fucking or no?
Yeah.
Whereas there's more mind games going on, and that's in everything.
Coercing, grooming. You're right. That's a huge
and also
problem.
Just because of technology, it's like the coercing doesn't just exist at the party you're at in 1989.
It almost exclusively exists on the internet.
Exactly.
It's easier to do. You're braver on the internet,
and so it's always too. It's you are constantly hovering over these people you're preying on.
Anytime you flip it on.
Not to mention the era too, right? We are living in a completely different era in the 70s. Everyone is well aware of what groupies are now. There's a veil that's been lifted. Back in the day, you were a fan, and then the groupies were like the unspoken thing. Oh, do artists really go on their buses? Now with all the stuff we see with R. Kelly grooming and the way that there's like just really deep-rooted predatory behavior, that's what comes with that lifestyle. It's not like, let's not pretend it doesn't exist anymore. What comes with the rock star lifestyle is a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, a lot of like questionable things, right? And like now it's this accountability measure stepped up, the social media, measure has stepped up. There's been so many different changes that have lifted that veil again and exposed what just happens in the industry on the regular. And now people have to pay attention to it, and that sucks for a lot of people, you know, especially when a lot of it is underage, a lot of it is, you know, abuse, a lot of it is these like really corrosive avenues that you don't want to go down. But what do? Ignore it? You can't ignore the entertainment industry.
Well, and also fandom. I mean, fandom is children, that for the most part. I mean, and then think about what you're a fan of, and it's like, oh, I was 15 when I made that decision, and I'm still living with it. You know, like fandom is.
My ex was like a 16-year-old when she decided to fuck 18 Visions, and she's still living with that mistake to this day. I mean, because I'll never let her live it down. We remind our whole fan base every episode. But no, I mean, it's really a valid point. It's crazy, and I mean, I think we're fucking heroes, dude, because we just brought this up. We could have been talking wrestling this whole time, and look at us advocating. God, look at us, we're fucking wonderful. Let's get to making fun of some bands. That's what we do best,
for sure. Yeah,
Smash Mouth, bro. Who's not a fan of Smash Mouth? God, I own all their records on vinyl. Not. Apparently, they went off the rails over the weekend. Good old Smash Mouth Steve, Brian. What do you got on this story? Because we had a good chuckle over this. Like, if you ever decided you want to go to Smash Mouth, you think you could bring your kids to that shit, right?
So about a year and a half ago, a video surfaced of Steve Harwell from Smash Mouth playing with literally a drummer and a guitarist. And questions started circulating about the life of Smash Mouth and what was going on with them and how they were doing. It is infamous rumors back in the day that, or I don't even know back in the day, but currently as well, they would sometimes have to send out a Steve Harwell impersonator. They clearly doesn't look.
They would send out a guy that they would dress him up like Smash Mouth Steve, and then they wouldn't tell the fans, they wouldn't cancel the show, and they just have a guy up there, and it's like, that's clear. It doesn't sound like him, it doesn't look like him, but they would never announce it.
For years and years and years, it's been speculated that Smash Mouth Steve has had some heart issues. Apparently, that's what they've been writing these missed performances off to. Occasionally, he would have an off performance where he would leave in the middle of a set, couldn't handle perhaps the pressure, the anxiety that was building up to him. Now, granted, they are playing beer and wine festivals over the last half of the decade and probably over the last...
motherfucking Catalina wine mix.
Yeah, they're playing the Catalina wine mixers, events like this. So they played a festival last weekend, and it's clear that the health problems Smash Mouth Steve has are not heart-related, but drinking-related. Because he has a full-on alcoholic meltdown in the middle of their set. A video surfaced on TikTok of them going through it, and he is just caught yelling the most outlandish, slanderous things into the microphone. Quote, during one of his songs.
Folks, put your children to bed. Spoiler alert, trigger warning.
Yeah. Maybe, trigger warning.
If you thought you were getting the Shrek song, okay, you're not.
Repeatedly said, fuck you, bitch, throughout the set. Throughout the entire set, he said, fuck you, bitch, to random people.
Can you repeat that for me, Brian?
Randomly would say, fuck you, bitch, and point to someone. Just say, fuck you, just like point people out.
Can you demonstrate on a random Whole Foods shopper?
There's nobody out there. Well, her behind me. During Why Can't We Be Friends? Why Can't We Be Friends?
Is that the Shrek song?
Yeah. He goes, they're all Shrek songs. All the Smash Mouth singles are Shrek songs, by the way. He goes, I'll kill each and every one of you. Straight up into the microphone as the song is
That
playing.
Is not the lyrics to All Star at all. Rather
than singing the lyrics to the song or interacting with the crowd in a positive way, he says, I will kill each and every one of you. And then he throws out the fame.
Why is that so funny?
He throws out the famed, I'm not drunk, you're drunk, to a random crowd goer, to a random person in the audience. He goes, I'm not drunk, you're drunk, and points at the person. And then he steps the threats up. He steps the threats up to atomic levels and then points to someone in the crowd and says, I will kill your whole fucking family, I swear to God.
Jesus Christ.
He went he went full postal mode. They brought a fan up on the stage who drunkenly sang like a song and a half and then proceeded to have people chant or sing to her happy birthday because it was her birthday.
Was she walking on the fan?
Oh, probably, man. She's probably walking on a lot of things. But yeah, man. Clearly Smash Mouth Steve
walking on eggshells to not get murdered by Smash Mouth Steve.
There's a moment where he's holding his beer and he's like leaning on a post on the stage.
Yeah.
And he leans down and just drops the beer. Just Not like the way Prince throws his guitar and it like vanishes in a magical way. It's just a drunken dropping of the beer. Pretty perfect.
It's sad. It's a sad drop. It's not a mic drop. It's not emphatic. It's just like, you're not having a good time, man. Like, you're messed up.
He's hugging the pool. He's got the beer in his hand. He drops it and goes. He just nods in like approval. He's like.
Also, shouts to that level of success where your band, who like Smash Mouth is on the radio in any state, in any given time of the day, Smash Mouth is on somewhere.
Shopping malls around the country.
Oh God, yeah, a random Kmart. God forbid it's still open. Like, you can pick and choose wherever you want to play. And you know what? Steve realized he was an alcoholic and wanted to play wine mixers.
I was gonna say. Smash Mouth in like 97 could pick and choose where they wanted to play. Smash Mouth in 2021 cannot pick and choose.
State fairs. They can choose between Iowa or Montana.
Fair. Two valid options, I guess. Yeah.
Are you Smash Mouth? I mean, do you at least respect 2 of their songs, or no? Will you not give it that?
I respect Walking on the Sun.
That's a great song, right?
And the success that All Star had, and that's it.
Well, now you worded that funny. Like, you're unwilling to say that All Star is a good song. You said the success that All Star had. Do you think it was it's a well-written song, right?
Yeah, it's a well-written song, but I've heard it so much I wouldn't even be able to tell you if it's good or not, because I absolutely hate it. It's the same way I feel about Hey Ya. I'm sure Hey Ya is a great song,
for sure,
but I've heard it so many times. Like, if I hear it again, I'll have to kill myself.
It's like your mother. It's like your mother's voice. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If she says my full Matthew, how do you turn my name into 6 syllables?
Yeah, it's in a Burger King commercial.
The other third song out of that holy trio that will make me off myself would be Black Eyed Peas. Got to get that.
That one bothered me.
I worked in Top 40 radio when that song was on, dude. It was like murder. Like, imagine like a McDonald's guy like flips a burger every day. I had to hear boom, boom, bap, boom, boom. No. Sorry, Will.
Very
that was terrible.
Future. Any song that's like acknowledging how futuristic they sounds 10 years older than its release.
Like Tomorrowland at Disneyland. It's not really that futuristic.
The only song that's ever famously predicted the future and stuck to that time frame and actually succeeded in still being a good song. Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto by Styx.
That's a good one, yeah.
Ooh,
I'm a Styx fan, yeah.
That's hard. Are we done shitting on Smash Mouth?
Let's go.
All right.
But also, look, they wrote, dude, those songs are real, like, dude, especially in terms of a time capsule, right? Like the purpose of what music in the end actually is, and it's like a reflection of that time. Like, that's what you hope you'd get, unless you're like timeless and it completely relates to every time. And you go like, when 90s movies are made and they are more prevalent than they are now, everybody's going to want All-Star. Like, the money that they're going to want to pay to have that on the fucking soundtrack to their movie about the 90s.
I imagine with every glass of wine and every year that ticks off the calendar, that All-Star gets a little cheaper every year.
No, I think that flips soon. I think that you're right in the sense if Hollywood and the entertainment industry repeats what they did with like the 80s, right? Like, everybody fucking loves the Wedding Singer band style of music because of the Wedding Singer, right? The fucking Drunk Dave band or whatever that band is in like old school that plays all the fucking songs. Like, yeah, you could be timeless in that sense, but are you timeless for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? You know, I feel like even to a point, a couple of those songs can be a little annoying. And like at this point, you know, you didn't really. I think if there's ever an era where you did get the one-hit wonders that could be used in movies, it probably was the 80s, right? The 90s definitely
every good song from the 90s is annoying today.
Yeah, but also
that's not true.
Also, it's an issue of like
time. Every Third Eye Blind song, whole.
We for some reason we're a generation, and it's like a big chunk of time. Like there's like from 90s teenagers on, it's like we've been taught. Nowadays it's different, but to kind of reject the things we grew up listening to. It's like, you know, Eminem kind of taught us like, fuck this thing, this thing, and this thing. And it's like, well, this is our pop culture, but now I'm saying fuck it to all of it. And you're like constantly rejecting the things we grew up on. It's like, Bop is fucking awesome, but we have to act like it's bad. And then like, You know,
Kids
like
today want to cancel Eminem. That blows my mind. That's how I know I'm old.
Yeah, but it's because we're a generation of people like really pushing away everything we had. So everything we like is like some specific bullshit that isn't universal.
That's the depression.
It's not the internet. It's the fact that we choose to shit on everything, you know?
No, the depression. It's the depression that is making us hate everything.
That's true too. Yeah.
I think
Columbine started it.
Oh God, yo, shouts to Columbine, the name of my debut mixtape.
How old are you, Scott?
I am 31.
Okay,
Boom.
Yeah.
So see, I mistakenly booked you without seeing your face, thinking you were a teenager. It's cool. It all worked out, Jamie. I'm not mad at you. But I'm 34. Brian's like right after me. He's a baby.
Hell yeah.
We are able to provide to like the scene kids and the younger kids the perspective of like Smash Mouth pre-All-Star.
Oh, dude. Well, yeah, there was that, but also even All-Star. Most people know All-Star from Shrek. I know All-Star the moment it debuted on my local radio.
Oh,
Mystery Men.
Yeah, so people go, oh, that's kid shit. And I go, whoa. That's pre-teen shit, okay? That's not...
Yeah, pre-teen.
Yeah.
Think about this, okay? Before we had All-Star in 1999, we had great hits from Smash Mouth. Come on. Can't get enough of you, baby. Why can't we be friends? Walking on the sun. All hits from Smash Mouth prior to All-Star. You know, I think we could even get into, you know, I mean, Digging Your Scene was kind of weird. I Just Want to See You was 1999. Every Word Means No. Well,
I think also we reject things that tell us we're doing well or everything's going to be okay. Like, hey, now you're an all-star. It's like, get the fuck out of my face.
Positivity. You know? Yeah, I hate positivity.
Like, yeah, give me that you're not going to hug me, you know? Yeah.
Bring on the emo.
That was U2. It's like U2 was a completely respected band. Joshua Tree was like considered a classic a year after it came out. And then it's like, then
Brian
they go,
it's a beautiful,
it's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. And it's like, don't fucking tell me, you know, it's like anytime someone tries to be positive, we've really, really rejected it.
Shout out to Joshua Tree and Joshua Tree High School, Joshua Springs High. I was literally in Joshua Tree this morning. That's where I'm at right now.
No shit.
Yeah. You know, I feel that there's...
I've been, man.
That's when...
Oh, so you've done drugs too?
Yeah. Perfect. I did ayahuasca in Joshua Tree.
I did
That's what you're supposed to do.
In Joshua Tree back in August.
Nice, awesome. Nice.
Hell yeah. I mean, that goes to this, man. I think when a band has something, they have more than just good music, right? They have a social presence. They have a presence that transcends into the culture. And I think we got that with U2 and Joshua Tree, right? The hippies now love Joshua Tree. You know, when you think Smash Mouth, what do you think of? Unfortunately, you kind of think of Shrek. You think of what it's talked about now, which is to be cheesy and to be lame. But I mean, if you really think about it, you are right. It does take us back to Mystery Men, right? It does take us back to them hosting the MTV
takes me back to NorCal, Sacramento, alternative radio, Quad 106.5, Nick Monroe, before it all went downhill.
The Walking on the Sun music video was great. You know, that was something that stood out, not just All-Star.
Smash Mouth was in the same vein as all the alternative that blend. That was what was on the radio. Alternative bands like alternative rock, Semisonic, Third Eye Blind. Why am I blurry? Did I nut on the camera again? Sorry. But then we started getting new metal, the Deftones, like not so much Slipknot on the radio, but like some Stained and all that. Like these kids don't even understand that Smash Mouth was once respected and like. All-Star became like all the Shrek songs and the music videos, and that's when we hated them, just like Creed, because we hate successful, popular bands like Nickelback. Was I frozen?
No, you were good. It cleared up.
Can you see my hat?
Stayed,
you see the hat, right?
Oh, that's a great hat.
For a second.
Dude, my dream is to get this hat signed by Stephanie McMahon.
Whoa.
Why figure it out? Stephanie?
To inside baseball for you? So The Rock has beef with Vin Diesel, right? It's delayed movies. It's screwed up the entire Fast and Furious universe. Rumor has it that they're going to end soon on like 1 or 2 more movies. They went to space in the last one. I'm bummed that we haven't got a Too Fast, Too Transfurious where they've blended with Transformers. It seems like the obvious mix. I'm hearing rumors that they might combine with Jurassic Park. That seems kind of fucking stupid. But what's not stupid is The Rock versus Vin Diesel. They say the feud is over. I want to know if these guys got booked in like I don't know, they don't seem WrestleMania worthy. Let's say Breaking Point or No Mercy 06 worthy. If they were booked in like the main event, let's say a street fight, because I don't think Vin's really got it in him, who would win?
Between the
street
between
fight.
the Rock and
Where's Vin Diesel from? Look up. I know Vin Diesel's real name is Mark Sinclair. Did you know that?
Listen, I don't even think Vin Diesel knows that at this point. And that's why I think Vin Diesel would win. I think he's going in genuinely believing in this, you know? Like The Rock's like, yeah, family. You're my oos or whatever, you know?
You're my oos.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel is like, no,
he's not even Samoan.
You know, I think
know.
what's unfortunate is I think a lot of people look at Vin Diesel because he is a tough guy. Kind of how they look at like most tough guy actors is that they really are in real life tough. Again, his real name is Mark Sinclair. He's always been into acting and wanting to be an actor. He cannot fight, probably. He probably doesn't know how to wrestle very well. I would think in this type of situation,
fight, bro. Like, look, you wouldn't book Marty Jannetty in a tag match today. You'd book him in a street fight. And you'd keep him like at least 120
feet. Fighting in the street. Just grab a camera.
Yeah, but my point is,
and you keep him at least 120 feet away from a school or his daughter.
The point I'm trying to make here is over the course
he's got a
of
point
the last
to make. Sorry, I'll leave.
20 years, over the course of the last 20 years, we've seen Vin Diesel do what an actor does, and that's progress in age, physique, build, and probably mental fortitude altogether, right? And we've seen The Rock progress in a way that
grapefruits.
We've seen The Rock progress in a way that an athlete progresses. He's gotten bigger, stronger, better, faster, and I just don't see how them.
But I think that's an illusion because real athletes die if they're doing what The Rock's doing. I think it's like there's no way he's there. There's no way he's present. He takes pictures with his kid. It's like, did you just walk up to your kid, take a photo, and walk away? There's no way a person can do that many things. I just don't believe any of it. I think it's like a weird illusion.
Are you calling out The Rock on our show?
Yeah.
Bro, I love clickbait.
So.
No, look, I think he could obviously beat Vin Diesel in a real fight, but I do want to say that I do not think The Rock is who The Rock thinks he is.
Look, The Rock is a great wrestler, and he's great on the mic, but he's never been hit with a light tube. So Scott Chaplain versus The Rock, GCW, book it. Y'all ain't got nothing going on this December, you know. Let's do it. Christmas Eve.
I don't think Vin Diesel's afraid to bleed either. So.
I think he is afraid to bleed. He seems like
no.
Look at that. Really look at that, man.
Look at. I am not afraid to bleed. That's what that
how many wife beaters are in his closet?
If this stance, they're not in his closet. They're in his fucking wardrobe trailer's closet. When he stands like this, this screams, "I'm not afraid to bleed."
Yeah.
Not afraid to bleed.
Go ahead and drink a Corona in honor of Vin Diesel. It's a family. The only other bit of news I wanted to get into was, dude, deathmatch wrestling is fucking crazy. Like, I barely follow it, but it's getting popular. GCW is cool to watch and stuff, but man, these indie guys.
It's not.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't say that. No, I didn't. You know, I'm still trying to book
I
wrestlers.
did. Not good to watch.
Okay, well, if G Ravers is still considering that interview, definitely don't listen to Brian. An indie wrestler decided that it would be a cool idea to take bolt cutters into a match at the Carnage Cup 12, IWA Deep South Carnage Cup 12. Blaine Evans appears to cut John Rare's finger completely off. The after photos show a cut finger completely off. I wanted to show the photo here, but it would get us booted offline. So instead, I'm going to show you a cute picture of a bunny.
Can you text it to me?
I can text it to you. I cannot show it here. So instead, you get this adorable picture of a bunny with a corn on the cob.
Yeah, I know. I've got a real corn on the cob right now, too.
But no, this guy, as we look at this adorable bunny on the corn on the cob, this guy got his finger cut off with bolt cutters in a death match. Bolt cutters. Previous to this, I had seen the same Instagram post a chair full of open syringes, saw blades attached to barbed wire, because apparently a saw match is a real thing, and it looked like there was no more than like 12 people attending any of these shows. Is this taking it too far?
Oh man, you know, they've covered this on Dark Side of the Ring, and I think particularly that Nick Cage episode, but hardcore deathmatch wrestling has definitely gone into, and we're talking about niche, a niche area, right? And I don't know if it's necessarily the best area for wrestling, because I definitely think it plays more towards that backyard. Don't try this at home. You're going to break your neck if you jump off your roof and do a pile driver kind of thing that they used to do, you know, especially during like the Attitude Era when wrestling was really booming with people in their teens and, you know, feeling angsty, right? I'm in your camp with the death matches, man. I don't follow it. You know, it was only a matter of time before shit like that started blending violence from a violence perspective. You know, we've seen real life angles between like lovers crossover. We've seen real life friendships and shit.
We even saw gay lovers with the Kenny and Kota Ibushi angle. I mean, that was amazing, compelling stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and you feel like there is you know, a bit of a transparent veil there that tends to go back and forth when it comes to wrestling, especially when it's can be marketed as real, right, and not just entertainment, since that's always been the cloud above wrestling. But this is, I think, taking it a little far, a little bit.
Yeah, it's also one of those things that if you're into, there might be a small chance you got something wrong with you. And I don't, not a strong chance, but even if 100 guys like it, like one of you is going to be fucking nuts. And I think that
you also
applies.
Kill small animals.
Yeah, you only watch Kids in the Sandbox twice.
It's just
anymore, you know?
Yes, it's in the job description. It's like the military, you know. It's like there's always going to be one nut job, and who like the idea because you can kill people. Well, there's a guy in
Brent Nixon. Shout to Brent Nixon.
hey.
There's guys in death matches who just actually want to hurt people. It's very bizarre. Like, so this guy who cut the fingers off, apparently he did it because this guy the guy he was fighting in a previous match stabbed him with a box cutter, and so he like went on his Facebook and was like, "Yup, I cut his finger off. It's a receipt." Yeah, there we go.
So my inbox has been blowing up for the past couple days, asking me if it's true. I cut John Rare's finger off, so I'm here to lay the rumors to rest by saying, "You damn right I did." Like I said, eye for an eye, eye for an eye. I don't know why anyone in the Southeast doesn't know how to use ands. This time you stabbed the wrong bitch with that box cutter.
Now
You're
the only way I'm going to say it might be a work is because too many words were spelled correctly in that. Even like some bitch, it's like he's like, what do the people say? You know, like it was very like, that's just Mark
look
Twain.
And see if there's a T-shirt that says "some bitch" on it. I need to know. That's fucking wild. Brian, I need you to tell those people at the Whole Foods, shut the fuck up.
There's nobody even out here.
Oh, well, then whatever, like, whoever's getting arrested in the parking lot.
There's like radio frequency.
Yeah, getting radio interference. Is your probation officer behind the camera? All right, it's cool. He turned it off. But yeah,
not bad.
I also want to know when it comes to this angle, am I getting worked? I mean, I still believe Snitsky kicked a real baby into the crowd. Am I getting worked on this? Like,
Here's why you're not. Here's why you're not. Because if you said like, whoa, that's crazy, I want to watch hardcore wrestling, then you're being worked. Like, the idea of being worked is to get almost sucked into it. You are being worked. This is you see what happens and you go, this is stupid. Now, if they go, hey, this is fake, you're still going to go, oh, well, it was stupid. Like, if the outcome is still the same, whether it's a work or not, you're not being worked. And if you think it's stupid no matter what, then it's not a work. I think it's stupid. It's very stupid. Whether it's a work or not, it's stupid. And so therefore I wasn't worked.
I agree.
Yeah, like I don't know.
The point to the work is to oh, you got worked over. You didn't see that coming. Well, you should have saw that coming. Like, you know, you did. And I think this is a failed attempt. Like, you know, health and safety is something that is, I think, paramount with a lot of people. And, you know, people that watch wrestling always like to know that the wrestlers are okay at the end of the day, especially when they see someone take a bump and actually get injured. You're going out there and deliberately slicing people up. Like, that's not
unless it's Jackson Riker. I'm
Okay.
just kidding. Sons of Anarchy should have got.
And we just don't want that anymore in our wrestlers. Like, even looking back at the idea of, oh, Harley Race beat the shit out of all these guys at a bar, and it's like, what type of drinking problem did Harley Race have that he's got to get in a fucking fight at every bar?
And a few of these dudes took the aggression out on their wives at home, and we like to not remember that as, like, you know,
madness.
humble WWE champions.
dude, the stress that they were living through, all just to be. I mean, think of the stress we deal with just in the moments in our lives where it's like, be a tough guy, and how much that like kills all of you, you know. And then these people all day they have to act like hard asses. It's insane. Yeah, they're they beat their wives. That's what ends up happening. Yeah.
God damn.
That's
where I'll give praise to another podcast real quick. All the podcasts Conrad does about like wrestling with his guests and talks about the good old days. Like that's why we listen to it, because of the madness and the stress they put on it. Like, can you imagine in 10 years how fucking boring the Seth Rollins podcast is going to be? I gave him a curb stomp and then I went and tucked my kid in with Becky. I mean, okay, good. You're a father. You were there for your kids. But all the legends abandoned their kids and neglected the shit out of them. And you're there taking care of them every night.
I mean, a very real sentiment. I mean, I don't mean to hijack this, but there's a lot of domestic abuse going on in the MMA world too, and that's a crossover, unfortunately, the wrestling and the MMA world, you know. So
I leave for 1 second, and you go on the fucking rant about MMA.
Yeah, you know, your job is to be a tough guy, and you can't kick it because in training you got to be a tough guy, and you know you let it consume you, like anybody who wants to be good at their job. Well, unfortunately, your job is like pretend to be a murderer, you know. So now you're fucking pretending to be a murderer all goddamn day.
Hey, Jamie, check out Nails. I want to see what happened to him.
And wrestling is one of those things too where you can't like, okay, if you're, let's say, the drummer for Smash Mouth, you're probably not getting recognized in fucking a Denny's, you know, late night, trying to get a burger, trying to eat, hang out, do whatever, right? If you're fucking Eugene, or if you're some low tier wrestler, but you're still on TV and maybe you only get 5 minutes a week, you're still going to get recognized in a Denny's because, again, the fandom of wrestling goes that deep, right? And so,
Jamie, cancel the Eugene request. He's not going to fucking do it now.
How are people? I just meant that as not a lot of people that know wrestling.
No, Nick Dinsmore is a mat technician. We talked about it last week, and now you're fucking up his credibility.
No. My point was to be this: like, you could be someone who's not nationally recognized on a world market level, and still get recognized by a wrestling fan because they're that hardcore. You're not going to be the drummer of Smash Mouth getting recognized everywhere. You could be a Eugene and get recognized because you have an opening segment on a Raw, or you know, you could be a whoever obscure wrestler that has TV time we want to talk about. You're going to get recognized, and so when you're in this weird realm of like crossing over into the real world aspect of things, like, yeah, you imagine how much stress they're going under when you can't eat a fucking Denny's because some 5-year-old kids want your fucking autograph or wanting to touch you or wanting to be a fucking ask you 1,000 questions that you could care less about. Like, no shit, man. Especially now, like, it's a good thing for Seth Rollins that he can spend time with his kids because fucking we all saw what happened to Chris Benoit's kid, and it wasn't, you know, the best experience.
Yeah, they should have gave him a bus.
Seriously.
Hey, I'm still waiting for the return, okay? Chris Benoit is all elite. Imagine,
I just saw, you know that Dan Lambert guy?
Fuck
yeah, from American.
He's on AEW. So he collects championship belts, and he has the Chris Benoit WrestleMania. What was it? 21, 20?
Jamie, find out where Dan Lambert lives.
The MSG. Yeah, he has the title that Benoit won at Mania. Dan Lambert.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think Guerrero's too. Yeah.
Damn.
Wow. That's
Benoit one.
I'm in between places since my mom kicked me out. Otherwise, I would have my ECW replica over my shoulder. But, you know, we're getting there. It's okay, Mom. I'm not mad. Anyways, so I've had Smash Mouth playing since we were talking about him, I guess, like background. And it only took 5 songs to get to Green Day's Dookie as a similar artist. Thought it'd be a lot quicker than that. Anyway, seamless transition. Our guest tonight,
Green Day's Dookie sounds like the pitch for Smash Mouth. Like you go, Dookie? Like it's like Green Day, but Dookie.
That's a great question. That's a great joke. A great joke.
I'm glad I'm not pained by the joke on this one. Oh man, I'm stoked to have Scott Chaplain here. You are our first official comedian guest.
Oh,
you're probably like our loosely affiliated wrestling guest number 5 on there. Probably.
There we go. Hell yeah, number 5, 5-time.
Trying to crack into that world. You know how it goes. Scott's going to be performing at Skankfest in Houston, Texas, the first week in November. You can get tickets if you Google that shit and you know how to use Googlyamos. I mean, come on, you found us, you'll find him. He's also got a sweet ass podcast. It's on podcast networks, ad free shows, and YouTube. It's called Wrestle Rose. You make fun of a bunch of wrestlers, which made you the perfect guest for our show because you make fun of wrestlers. We make fun of bands. Why not bring you on?
Yeah, that's awesome.
As a comedian, I've been wanting to ask someone this. It's a two-part question, so no pressure here. Is it possible to be funny in 2021? And is it possible to be funny without being racist or offending women? Yes or no to both, please?
Yeah. Yes. Wait, what? You damn it. You yes or no? No. Yeah.
It's called a loaded question, and that's how we do this, folks.
I think I know where you're going with this. You mean yes, but you're saying no.
Well, I don't know. The way he asked it, it was very, you end up in the same place,
Yeah, loaded. Dude, that's what loaded.
Some Riddler shit.
Yeah, you're a terrible person either way you answer it. So just, if we could get that, please.
I was telling my buddy that, like, I'm too stupid. I'm so stupid that, like, anybody who asks me a question becomes the Riddler because it's all just madness to me. Like, you ask a question, it's always going to be, why are you trying to confuse me? I don't know what's happening.
Scott, I asked you how your day was going, man. It wasn't a confusing question.
Yeah, it's all very, like...
Do I need to go close-ended? Do I need to go close-ended? Yes or no? Like, what are we doing here?
In layman's terms, without being so stupid about it. I mean, so Chappelle came out with a special. A bunch of people are like,
I saw it. I did see it. And I don't watch specials, but I saw that one. Yeah.
Some people think it's hilarious. Some people are outraged. I think being a comedian is probably as difficult as being a Radio Shack employee at the moment because your days are numbered at Radio Shack. But how the fuck can you be funny now? Everything I found funny from Eddie Murphy is like cancelable now. Everything I found funny from 2008 gets you canceled. I mean, hell, I went on like 6 dates before I found my girlfriend now, and they all canceled me. Like, you can't even talk to a chick nowadays. You send them like, I can't book chicks on the show. You ask them if like these cam girls, hey, you want to come on my podcast? Like, we think you're hot, and they don't want to.
How you spelling "come" when you write to them?
C-U-M.
Hey, that might be my fault for all the fucking baby jokes and all the fucking jokes that I talk about.
Brian named his fantasy football team after Jerry Sandusky. Big shouts to him.
My goodness, hell yeah, there we go. I don't know. You go. Like, have people been canceled? Yeah, there's been instances where jobs have been taken away from people for certain things, and you go, well, what the fuck?
Shouts to John Gruden.
Everybody's, said things and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, Chappelle wasn't canceled, right? He still has these specials that it's happening. So it's just people complain and like, really, who's getting canceled? Like, that is missing an opportunity that they would have never gotten in the first place. Like every star from whatever show you think someone got canceled from, it's like, well, they weren't saying shit like that. Like our heroes, whoever they may be, it's like they weren't famous. I mean, that's the truth of it. Is like, maybe like we grew up with like these tough crowd guys, which are like the reason I wanted to do comedy, right? Patrice, Louis, Bill Burr, and it's like, are they famous? I don't know. Not necessarily. Not famous in terms of like, if they said something on NBC at 8 p.m., they'd get in trouble for it. But as of now, no, it's just because they're appealing to their audience. I think it's always been like that.
I think it also comes down to, Jon Stewart just did a piece on how he doesn't think culture cancel exists. And, coming from a really well-respected comedian and honestly personality, right? He's got a base that he definitely crosses a lot of gaps. And I think for him to say that there's not a cancel culture, I don't necessarily agree with it 100%, but I do see the point in that, we all see what's going on here. We see that it's outrage. We see that it's people getting angry at literally anything. And there's the real cancelable offenses, right? The, what's his name? Kramer, Richard.
Michael Richards. Yeah.
Michael Richards.
He said
Michael
the N-word
Richards.
for shock value.
To a fan because he was
to a heckling right? African American fan, like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
That's cancelable, right? We had Louis C.K. semi-canceled, but he came back, right? And I think
if I got canceled,
and by canceled, we just mean like it's like it would be best to not see you and stuff for a minute.
You're
making us uncomfortable. Like Michael Richards, like when he's in things, it's like, that is weird. There's a weird thing to it, and just to acknowledge that, it's like you could put him in your thing, but it's a little weird. It's gonna feel weird for a second, maybe.
See him.
That's all.
I just see exactly. I don't think he's making a comeback because I think that that's where the test of time comes in. We're like, hey, that is something that in the moment was uncalled for, and we saw what that can do. Even though it may have been a mistake, we see what that can do to a larger degree, right? And that's what we're seeing now. But I think people are becoming more aware of the cancel culture, and I think they're understanding that, hey, people do get outraged at little things, and that's why you're seeing it not work as often. And I think we're eventually going to hit this balance where people are going to learn that, hey, man, you really have to take things at face value. How are you receiving it? Is it a headline? Is it this? Is it that? And secondly, like, if you don't have the details, maybe you shouldn't comment on it. And I think a lot of people are understanding that just jumping to trying to cancel.
To comment on something. Have you seen Facebook?
I think that's becoming learned, though. I think people are understanding that you can't just jump to cancel people because people aren't getting canceled. They tried canceling Tony Hinchcliffe off of him ripping that Asian dude, and that shit was fucking hilarious. Calling a bunch of fucking white Texans race traitors because of they were laughing at an Asian comic is fucking comedy. And people tried canceling him for it, and it was fucking stupid. It was dumb because you realize you can't do this in the moment, especially when you have context. We all saw Michael Richards fucking yelling at the dude because we saw the whole thing. We saw him tell a joke, it fell flat, someone heckled him, and he didn't respond well because he cracked under pressure. You can't just.
He really thought people were gonna laugh at him calling the N-word with a hard R.
Yeah, dude, come on. And like, you have people that can sit there and now show the whole incident and go, listen, guys, you're fucking stupid for trying to cancel this. This is comedy. Or, hey, you're stupid for trying to cancel this. This is art. Or this, it's that. People are understanding that now. So I think the cancel culture is going to probably swing back in the other direction. But, I mean, nobody's safe, man. And still tread with caution. You can't be out here saying a bunch of shit. And again, comedy, you got to understand, if you're going to a comedy show, fuck you if you're offended. Seriously. You're not a fan of comedy.
Shows, it's typically very different. You go to a show, like, some crazy cancel thing could happen, and it could make you go, oh my God, well, what if I say certain things? Who knows, right? And you're all worried all day. And then you go to a club at night, and everybody's like dying laughing at like shit that you think is racist. You go, wait, no, I think this is wrong, actually. And people are laughing at it. So it's like nobody actually gives a fuck in real time,
I'm a Raiders fan, I mean, I just have to say this about Gruden, dude. Like, I'm a Raiders fan. I just watched my coach get canceled from like homophobic, racist, awful shit he said in emails from 2011 to 2018. It's bad, man. Like, that's a guy that I looked up to and respected and thought was wholesome. Like, that's what sucks. We go over this all the time about don't idolize these bands because oftentimes when you meet them, they turn out to be predatory dickheads. And now we're finding out that Gruden was just like a fake car salesman. He was selling us a bill of goods. He wasn't really about equality or BLM or any of this shit. And it sucks. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff on the internet about cancel culture. And as someone who's done an expose on someone we felt was predatory in our scene, a band member who was literally preying on his fans and being rapey about it, we tried to put a stop to it by exposing him. I look at cancel culture in a different light. And I think that there's definitely fake outrage. There's a lot of people that want to get outraged so they have something to bitch about. There was a guy on Twitter this week that I fucking handed it to on 2 different accounts till he blocked me, where he's bitching about some concussion Taylor Wilde received in Impact over 10 years ago. It's a different regime, it's a different name, it's a different roster, and yet he's still bitching about it. He's not bitching because he wants a solution or resolution or anything. He just wants the attention to bitch about it. And that's the dirty side of cancel culture. The other side of it is where it pertains to our scene specifically is people don't pay attention. It's hard for police to convict sex crimes and shit. And so we find a need for people to be exposed publicly because we bring this up all the time. Alt press suppressed 25 stories of sexual assault on Austin Carlisle, formerly of Mice and Men. We bring that up all the time. They're not looking out for you. There's these bands that do that shit and it's swept under the rug. So you feel the need for a cancel culture, which is gonna be a bunch of angry teenagers on Twitter. Okay, so question the credibility, question the validity of all their stories. They're going to be an angry mob with pitchforks on Twitter, and they're big enough to shut down bands, a la Dead Crown. Dead Crown had a member that had an abusive past, did some shit recently, and they got outed. They put out a song called No Remorse, where they're basically telling the victim to kill themselves, and the band got immediately canceled. They got called out for it. They got put on the spot. They got death threats to the point they deleted social media. This is a band that was on the up and up, like about to be signed, could go on tour and make something of themselves. Now they're done because of poor decisions of who you keep in your band, how you police it, how you go about it. And that's the side of cancel culture I find necessary. So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, we're fucked. I mean, I've had bands I like get canceled. Like, we're on episode 80. How many episodes until we're canceled? Like, I told a John Benet Ramsey joke like 4 episodes ago.
We've talked about this, like what's going to get us canceled, jokingly, right? Because it's just a matter of time before someone gets offended.
You chanted "We fuck kids" like 5 episodes ago.
But I did. But I don't at the same time. Figure that one out.
I pray to God. He's getting married this week, folks.
What I'm saying is we all know this dirty shit goes on, and I think what we really need to see is, first of all, we need to call it what it is. It's not cancel culture, it's accountability. Okay? You have athletes that are on these mainstream rosters playing for mainstream sports teams or affiliations, coaching them. They're in the limelight. And they're public figures, plain and simple, and they're being called out for the bullshit. That's what it needs. That's what needs to be done, and people need to understand the difference of bullshit and like actual bullshit. Like, you can't just cancel somebody when there's no reason for them to be canceled. People can be upset and can be enraged or what have you, but you can't just cancel somebody on the basis that they're offending, right? We have to be able to continue to hold people accountable, but in the sense that actually makes sense. Hey, we're going to fire somebody because over the last 7 years in the Gruden situation, we've had someone that stood here and supposedly was about equal rights and BLM and all these other social issues that were going on and was taking that right side. And then we have all these outlandish emails that are coming to fruition, and he's clearly a fucking racist or a horrible person.
It's CM Pump juice. It's not Pepsi.
Yeah. For what it's worth, it's just, we got to understand the difference, and we got to understand that, like, examples do need to be made, but they need to be analyzed, and they need to be made with good intentions, I think.
Accountability. And I hate that I just twisted everything into cancel culture and like sexual abuse, and we're trying to hype up our boy here.
I got let me get a question out, because I got a question for you, Scott. And
all right, go ahead. All right, let's go. Fire off Q&A.
Being a comic with some wrestling love like ourselves, I got to know, what is in your mind some of the funniest, genuine comedic moments in wrestling? Like, if you can dig back into your fucking memory bank, what are some genuine? It's a 2-parter. This is the first part. What are some genuine ones that made you laugh, that were actually meant to be funny? And then what were some unintentionally funny moments? Things that maybe were meant to be serious or maybe meant to be taken in a different light, but ended up just being too fucking funny.
Okay, I always thought Kurt Angle was genuinely funny.
Jimmy Crack Corn, and I don't care.
And Austin with Angle.
Funniest era in wrestling, maybe.
Because otherwise, Austin's a poor heel, like a poorly timed heel.
Yeah. And it was genuinely fun. And it sucks that people don't talk about that enough, because it's like, oh, Austin failed as a heel, but it's like, okay, sure, if you're thinking in terms of like fans sitting there going, no, we want the old Stone Cold, but it's like, the work he was doing was fucking awesome. It's better than anybody else's heel work for the most part.
And let me say, he did go through a period when it was the 2-man power trip, him and Triple H. He got booed. People didn't like him,
and he was fantastic.
They didn't understand. They were like, what is this? I don't like Triple H and Stone Cold being assholes, fucking people up with chairs all the time. They're beating up the Undertaker and Kane. We don't like this. But then you had like I think the Stone Cold what is hands down the funniest thing in wrestling, because it still exists. It still exists when crowd doesn't want to hear somebody, or doesn't want to put up with fucking Vince, or doesn't want to deal with shit. And it was, I don't know why he dropped it. I know the story behind him and Christian talking to each other and losing reception, and him saying what, and Christian thinking it was hilarious. Whatever the method behind dropping that was, one of the funniest moments, and it came from that era. It came from Stone Cold trying to be a heel.
What about Mae Young giving birth to a hand? That was super funny to me.
That was stupid. That was the stupidest thing.
Yeah, that shit always made me mad. I always got very, very mad about stuff like that. I really do like wrestling for the liveness of it. Like, that's part of the reason I like AEW so much, is because you feel like you're in that city, like whatever like, and they're not harping on it, but it just feels like they are a traveling company. Like I always liked the circus growing up, and I like the idea of a place travel. It's why I like New Japan so much. I like waking up early and going, this is somewhere in the world, and people are enjoying it, you know?
You're the one that wakes up for these stupid super shows and Saudi Arabia shit.
Oh, no, not that. No. Well, and that's my issue is because
this is in Saudi Arabia. Wow, a journalist got chopped up for this.
It's a big issue with WWE is it feels like they're the same place every week. You know, they're just in this purgatory where it's like it feels like it's the same people watching it every week.
It's us. It's just us. That's it. It's no one else.
Yeah. I feel like I got off track, but Toriano in New Japan is really funny to me.
I love Toriano.
Yeah, genuinely funny. Him and Kota had a G1 match that I really liked like a week ago.
Brian, you would like Toriano. And you can have my New Japan account. I'm about to cancel it next month.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, and then unintentionally funny. It's who? Oh, dude, that Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, handcuff situation was very funny to me. The Omega Moxley, the explosion was funny. You know, things like that, like just current. Where
that was the only time we ever did a live reaction to a pay-per-view or to any event, and it's like we were all excited, like wait for it. It's like it's sparklers. It's a dud. The pay-per-view sucks. It's all over. I wasted my money.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go back and watch that. We need extra views trying to feed my family.
Even the Finn Balor thing from SummerSlam, it was SummerSlam, right? Or Extreme Rules, where the ring rope breaks and he falls. Like that shit made me laugh.
Stupid. Extreme Rules. That wasn't extreme at all.
Everything with the Fiend made me laugh because it was. I just thought a lot of it was very dumb. The matches. Like I was always laughing during a Fiend match.
Snitsky kicking a baby into the crowd.
I don't remember if I thought that was funny.
That I think it's funny now, but at the time, that specifically made me a TNA lifer.
I think
TNA? That wasn't TNA. That was Raw, right?
Because it made me turn the fucking channel, dude.
Oh,
I became a TNA lifer after that.
Sense.
I was like, I'm done. You can have Snitsky and all this other shit. I'm done. I don't care what a Basham brother is.
I used to watch TNA at well, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. I
was gonna say I there was a time frame, and it might have been the Snitsky punting the baby time frame where because that was like 2006, 7, right?
Yeah,
5,
6 or 7.
Okay. That whole transition from the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression era was very they were almost phoning it in on a lot of occasions. And I use this as an example only because of just it made me laugh, and I understand that it goes deep beyond just the match itself. But there's a Raw match, I believe, where it's Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and they're facing fucking somebody, I don't know. And somebody hits Triple H with something, and he legitimately is trying to fall over for a solid 40
Oh yeah, he does a Ric Flair thing, but for way long.
He stalls forever, and Sean's come
Sean
on.
He's blowing up.
Was that a house show?
I don't know. No, I think it was on a Raw or something. But to me, it's okay. When does this come into a wrestling match? That doesn't make sense. But it's
that's
I'm getting
funny,
out of
but
wrestling.
It's also kind of like going into business.
Exactly.
It's cracking the boys. Is it cracking the crowd? Not so much.
Exactly.
The kids don't get it.
And as I'm getting older, as I am, 18, 19, and it is fucking this whole Ruthless Aggression era, and they are being silly, but you can't tell if it's meant to be silly or they're trying too hard. I give it the props because I'm all right, at least you guys are behind the scenes having fun, right? At least Shawn Michaels and Triple H can sit up there and fucking crack some jokes in the ring. They can do some inside jokes, but I also don't need Vince walking around saying the N-word, for shock.
We forgot about that. We scrubbed that.
Yeah, we can't. I'm not into that either.
We scrubbed that, bro. BLM.
I never liked things falling from the ceiling on set. I like the blood because that's cryptic, but I hated the funny thing falling on a person. It always.
What about when
sucks.
Stone Cold told X-Pac to reach for the stars and the roof caved in on him?
I don't remember that.
Stone Cold systematically took out every member of DX before he blew up the DX Express.
Oh, fuck yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. Okay. That was great.
Yeah. Before he dropped that bar on it.
That was on a SmackDown, right?
It was.
Yeah,
It was back when like SmackDown's first or second year, dude.
Yeah.
he dropped the big beam, the building beam on it on the bus, and it like smashed it.
Yeah.
See, kids, being 34 ain't that bad. Brian, what other questions do you have for our guest before you leave?
You
This
know,
Whole
man,
Foods security is going to kick you out.
I don't know. I got an appointment here in like 10 minutes, so I don't really have much, man. Other than thank you for coming on. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Huge wrestling marks, man. We fucking love it. And anytime we get a wrestling fan on or get a chance to shoot some shit, brings us back. So really appreciate you doing that. Before I get out of here, what shows you got coming up that you're most hyped about, man? I know you got Skank Fest. What else?
Yeah, Skank Fest was at November 4th through the 7th or the 5th through the 7th.
I imagine it's going to be a bunch of
That's really it right now. Yeah, and then Wrestle Roast. Check out Wrestle Roast on, wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah. Me, Dan St. Germain, Mike Lawrence, and Robert Karpelis. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Like it, man. Thanks for coming on again, and I appreciate you doing this.
Brian, you need to bring me back breadsticks from that Olive Garden.
I'm eating them all. All you can eat, man. Take them.
When you tip the waitress, make sure you leave my number like I taught you.
I will.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
You guys live in the same town?
So we do now. He's out in California, about to get married on Saturday like a loser. We went to high school together.
Yeah, no shit. Whereabouts?
We went to high school in La Quinta, California. La Quinta. Oh, so like Palm Springs area. The way this is great, dude. If we were gay lovers, this is the story I would tell everyone of how we met. I said in Mr. Likens science class, I said, "What am I? Fucking helpless like Zach Gowen?" And Brian heard me and became best friends with me. Oh, it's just
hell yeah, that's beautiful, man.
I had never met him. We sat next to each other, but there was a person in between us. He said that. I leaned over and I was like, "You watch wrestling?" And he was like, "Yeah, I watch wrestling," and we're friends ever since.
That was third period. He blew me in fifth. Ever since then, I've been hating the fact that he's getting married.
He told me he loved me the day after. So. A little bit of a clinger, but
I love you, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Bring me those goddamn breadsticks.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I kicked him out. All right, so now we can get back to you, bro. This is what the show's about. Brian tried to bogard this shit like it's about him. We don't care. What were your dreams and as you hit the meth pipe? What were your dreams and aspirations as a child, and where did it all go wrong for you to end up here?
I remember I'd have to do the timeline, but at the very least 5. Yeah, because it came out. The movies I think came out in '94, so. By 95 is when I would have had them on VHS or something. And it was The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber, right? They all came out in 94.
Mark.
Yeah, so if you received the VHS in 95 and you're 5 years old, I wanted to be a pet detective, like completely for a full year, just wanted to be a pet detective. Also because I didn't know what Ernest did. Like I didn't.
Oh my god, yo, Jamie, what the hell did Ernest do? Was he a plumber? Look that up. I don't know. Was he a child molester?
I don't know what he was. He just hung out with kids and shit. And yeah, he just like kind of a mechanic, but kids don't have cars. And maybe a bus driver.
Hey kids, you want to hop in my van? I just fixed it. Yeah, no.
But it was, you watch these things, you kind of almost believe them. All you know is you like these characters. You don't know you like them because they're being funny to you, So I was like, I want to be.
This was rich in characters.
Yes.
Not and so much now. Everything's from a book now.
Oh yeah, well yeah, or yeah, but yeah, it's all from like a graphic novel or something. Even comedies are from like some fucking thing you got to read. Crazy.
I hate that. Anything I gotta read, like I'm not dubbing my anime either. I'm watching Squid Games now, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can't watch it subbed." I said, "Fuck you! I'm watching it in Russian."
No.
Yeah, I got Rosetta Stone
on the subtitles, man.
I got Babel and Rosetta Stone. Fuck with me.
But anyway, I wanted to be a pet detective for like a year, and then I remember Chris Rock. I watched Chris Rock Bring the Pain. I always had a television in my room, so in like '96, '97, I remember watching a lot of stand-up.
Parents thought that was a bad idea, but that was crucial as a kid.
Yeah, and everybody in the house had a legal bot. My dad was a cop, so he always like took the things that you take from a person. So we always had fireworks. And this is what I knew we had, which
I'm going over to the Chaplain house.
Which was fireworks and like the illegal boxes for the television. Yeah. And so I remember watching like all the current comedies on pay-per-view for free at the time, and and watching a lot of SNL at night on a Saturday. And I watched a lot of In Living Color. They used to play reruns of it at like 4 p.m. on FX, I remember, in like the late 90s.
Shows
There's
like
no
that
way
are
I'm
what-
wrong on that.
Shows like that are what make me want to say comedy was better in my day. I mean,
Yeah,
dude, the sketch shows were just priceless. You don't
Yeah.
have like In Living Color. I think they should try to reboot that. They're rebooting a lot of black shows now. They made the Wonder
Yeah, well,
Years
they
black.
did try to for a minute, but it never even made it to like the public eye. But
I think it's got a
I had a
better
friend who
shot
was going to be
now.
on it. Yeah, yeah.
That would be hot.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think it does have a fair shot now for sure.
Like some raunchy black comedy in the mainstream, I'd be for that. I love shit like that. That's why like comedy now is so confusing. I've also noticed like a huge drop off in like, I don't know, it seemed like every week, especially every month, comedians were putting out big comedy specials and those kind of went away, like Netflix here and there from this guy or that guy, and
Well,
they gotta be
it's kind of
huge.
constant, and it's also not everything is being filtered through the one thing that everybody in America is receiving, you know? So like if if I go on like a wrestling binge for like a month, the next 2 months after that, my entire Twitter existence, it looks like the news is wrestling, you know? And it's
Yep.
like, so if you're only going on a few sites, it's whatever you're kind of looking up at the moment, you know? Like if you're into a certain even a writer or something, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden the world is mysteries constantly, or whatever the fuck you're reading at the time. You know, it's like, no, you're just kind of being advertised to constantly. What were we saying though?
I was asking, gay porn, do you prefer it to straight?
No. You got to mix it up, but no.
Got to mix it up, guy, girl. You know, you don't know until
but
you
prefer
try.
it, no.
What were your dreams and aspirations? So you wanted to be a pet detective. I think you just
Yeah,
wanted
then
to
I
be
wanted
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, and then I wanted to be a stand-up by like 7, I think.
Then you figured out what Jim Carrey was, and you're like, comedian.
Yeah. And then you know, something happens in the way. It's just living in Jersey, probably, where you go like, well, that's a bit too silly. I got to be more serious and cerebral with my humor. So then you become like a cunt, you know?
Well, all your jokes about
you're walking
Jersey.
around like fucking Bill Hicks or something, and you're 15. You know?
That's rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were all your jokes just about Jersey? Because I mean, some people try that shit.
No. I'm just saying, you know, you don't. At least when I came, like I started stand up in 2008 or 9, and it was like to be that was like the Louis C.K. That was right after the Dane Cook backlash, and so the idea of being like at all silly or funny like a Jim Carrey would be out of the question, you know? Yeah, like you couldn't do that. That meant you weren't a comic or whatever lie we believed, you know?
Do you think that's why Anthony Jeselnik isn't allowed to put out shit anymore? Because his whole bit was just to be raunchy.
No, I think he's still there. He's got a podcast and.
Oh man, I need to get that.
Right?
Then I'm fucking up. I hope.
He's doing things for sure. He is.
I like the raunch.
Yeah, he's got a beard now and stuff.
Okay, I don't like the beard so much. Clean it up, Jeselnik. So, what's some of your favorite music, bands, rappers? What do you get down with now?
Okay,
what you like as a kid? Like,
I'll do like the whole time. So as a kid, I just like soundtracks, you know. So
okay,
yeah.
like Batman Forever.
Yeah, Wayne's World soundtrack. Beverly Hills Ninja soundtrack.
Okay, who was on that?
Well, Tarzan Boy, the Jungle Boy theme song by Baltimore or whatever was on that, and then like. I'm turning Japanese, but like a ska cover of it, you know?
Oh yeah, that's appropriate for 2021.
Yeah, I think we're alone now, but some other person, you know, like
I love when it's someone else.
Yeah, it's always the second person who covered it, you know, like not even the first person who covered it. It's like the third or fourth person who covered it. But then
most lit soundtrack of all time.
Ooh. Well, Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann one, I really do like that, and I'm not wrong. It's very good.
Dude, who's on it? It's like Bush.
No, Radiohead has
of course,
a song on it, and then they also like one of the exit music is in the movie, but they said you can't put it on the album. I think they put it on OK Computer. I could be wrong about that. If not exit music, then the other. Well, anyway, but talk show. What is that? talk show host or something. That song, you know, dude, that you got to listen to that album. It's just like top to bottom a good ass time, man.
Write that down.
There's like some Everclear songs, you know.
Oh, yo, I used to like Everclear in the late '90s. Shouts to
Oh
Everclear.
yeah, dude, Everclear or Everlast. It's one or the other.
Yeah, completely different sound, but yeah, Everlast, House of Pain. Yeah, shouts to them.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Everlast. No, that's House of that's Jumper. No,
Jump
that's
around.
engine number, right? Is that them? If my train falls off the track, pick it up. Is that them? No,
I think so.
maybe.
I think that's House of Pain.
Yeah,
Yeah, Everlast, and then he did like Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. Did you really
Insane in the Membrane, right?
Yeah, that's Cypress.
Oh, that's Cypress. Whatever.
I think House of Pain might be like present during the recording or in the video, so they claim it too. But like, no.
My brother-in-law likes like those guys when they go solo. You know, he's like real into that. He'll be like, "Hey, come see
like
me."
Cypress.
Yeah, like whoever is from any band. You know, like whenever they go, who's the guy?
Be Real, Sendog, and DJ Muggs.
Wait, it's not Hoobastank, but it's Godsmack. Who's the lead singer of Godsmack?
Oh man, I wish I knew his name. I don't mind that band at all. They were dope.
He fucking loves that guy. I don't remember them at all.
Jamie, look it up. I wish Brian was here. I make him do it.
That's a band that I like if I'm picturing like a wrestling montage in my head. I go like, I'll listen to Godsmack if wrestling is happening, but otherwise I tend to avoid
Sully. It. His name is Sully Erna.
There you go, Sully. Yeah.
Shout out to Sully.
I really growing up like legitimately. So it was like it became Eminem, and Eminem was like most of middle school. But then towards the end of middle school, it was like the Temptations, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, Nirvana. But then in high school, it was like just a lot of oldies. I really liked oldies. I really liked the Beach Boys.
So you weren't like keeping up with like new shit. You're like
I was aware of it. All my friends, you know, like everybody liked Taking Back Sunday and shit. And
yeah, that's pretty much what everyone like.
Flogging Molly and My Chemical Romance was huge. I guess
motherfuckers like Brian like MCR.
Yeah. Well, I like them now. Like listening back, I go, that Black Parade shit is really well done.
That was a massive record. What,
right?
07, I think it was. But
and it's really well done. I think
it's well done. I didn't. Yeah. I'm not that. I didn't like that shit. But like everyone in this demographic of scene kids and shit, they were obsessed with MCR. That was a big deal for people just a little younger than I was.
Yeah, and like right now I'm on a Bob Dylan kick. I'm on a Bob Dylan kick. But I go in and out. Like sometimes I go, why would I ever have listened to him? And then sometimes I go, oh my god, you know, amazing. I like Paul Simon. I like.
So actually, some musical stuff.
I guess.
What's like your guiltiest pleasure on like your iPod or iPhone or whatever? Like, what's the most embarrassing song that you genuinely?
Oh well, dude, I like a lot of one-hit wonders. I will like they'll just.
Do you like Imagine Dragons?
No, never
God.
that.
Thank God, I was gonna have to boot you.
Yeah, no, I get like bored with that, but I
hate them. Chumbawamba?
No, but I might. There might be a day where I go, oh, I got to listen to Get Knocked Down, you know.
Tub thumping.
Yeah, and but okay, so
I'm sorry that I know that. Oh fuck. I shouldn't know the name to a Chumbawamba song, but I owned it.
Dude, you know what? All right, like so a song that just popped up. Alien Ant Farm Movies. That's a good fucking song, man.
I don't know that particular one.
Yeah,
but I'm familiar with Alien Ant Farm.
And just like the movies.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
But if it's not Smooth Criminal, you know, it's just not slick enough.
Well, I know, sure. Oh, I really like Roy Orbison. Dude, you know what? I will defend like Limp Bizkit. I'll defend most groups. I like the Backstreet Boys.
Limp Bizkit a couple weeks ago. They're not bad. I actually worked a tour that they performed on. It was one of the worst shows I'd ever seen because the headliners were Limp Bizkit, Buck Cherry didn't show up, and then Hollywood Undead. So it's like you might as well just drink till the music's good. But Limp Bizkit wasn't bad, and he kept the Nookie girls on retainer, so they all came out with the flannel around their waist and shit.
Dude, I was big into No Doubt as a kid. Oh, I really like Pixies.
Love No Doubt.
Yeah, Tragic Kingdom was big as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Love Tragic Kingdom. Yeah, man, all of that shit. Yeah, but I like a lot of '90s like one-hit wonder, like you know. Oh, I guess
Natalie Imbruglia.
Who is that? I don't know who that is. No.
Torn. I can't have a
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's a nice song. Yeah, I can respect
wonders.
that. Yeah, man. Yeah.
When you say one-hit wonders, I'm thinking back to all the albums I bought in the BMG Record Club when you had to buy one record, you get 12 free, and the one record's like $30. And that's how like
shit.
kids nowadays don't understand. Hell, at 31, you might be out of the fucking loop for that. But that was a thing back in the day. They'd send this out like, oh you bought a record, you like music, and it's like a fat ass catalog of albums. And it's like whatever record label subscribes to this distribution and you can get the albums, it's all a scam because the next time around they make you buy 4 for $30 a pop. No one's buying $30 fucking albums.
Yeah. I used to have a Coconuts. Do they have a Coconuts out by you? Coconuts was like the name of it, was like a CD store, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like a Sam Goody.
I grew up in California.
FYE.
We had Sam Goody. We had, I don't know if we had Virgin, but there was a Virgin in Phoenix, Virgin Megastore. I liked Warehouse Music the best. If you're gonna buy music, none of this shit exists now. Sadly, sorry kids, you got to download all your stuff.
Or you go to Best Buy. I guess Best Buy has some CDs, right?
Dude, okay. So when Fozzy dropped that record, I thought I'll go support this shit. I liked it. And I went to Best Buy. I went to 2 Best Buys. They didn't sell CDs at all.
Wow.
It's the only album I've ever purchased through iTunes, like before I became an Apple Music subscriber. It was fucking ridiculous.
But also, then there's people who are just stealing music. Well, I don't know why anybody would steal music now because you pay like $10 a month, you get everything.
It became more convenient to just pay for the shit.
Yeah, to just pay $10.
I was that guy.
Yeah,
in 2008, I was stealing like music like Vin Diesel was stealing cars in the movies.
Yeah.
Blowing through it. Who would be some of your like favorite wrestlers growing up, favorite wrestlers now? And that also ties into like your favorite wrestling moments of all time, because the moments are what matter. It could be a match, it could be I thought it was really funny when Triple H drove Stephanie through the chapel and she was all fucked up, and that's how the marriage started. Some people don't remember that.
I do recall.
We talked about the Mae Young hand. That was definitely on my list. When I first tuned in to WCW Nitro, Monday Nitro, on the night of the takeover, I saw Vince McMahon walk out and I didn't think anything of it. And then I was like, oh shit, it's 7. Like I'm watching, or it's 8 or whatever. I'm watching Nitro. Like this isn't right. It's Vince McMahon. And that was cool as shit to me.
Yeah, I remember going on the website that day, and the main page was just like a big WCW, like a photo of it, and
the red WCW logo.
Yeah, and it was like, click on it and read the article about how it was bought, and that was
that didn't leak beforehand, right? Because I remember being a heavy dirt sheet guy and really not being clued into that was going to happen that night.
Well, no, so and so that's what happened. So everybody knew, and so Vince comes out, and you know what's going because earlier that day there was a press release, and then that's why the Shane thing is there.
As
because
a 13-year-old, I'm not paying attention to the press releases.
Oh, dude, so that's the thing. I remember being 9 years old and like every Wednesday morning waking up extra early for school, which 9, what are you in, like 4th or 5th grade? And I would print out SmackDown results on like the dirt sheets and then bring them to school and read them. And then like also like tell I wouldn't let them read it, but I would tell them like, oh, this is what's going to happen Thursday.
If only you could sell those.
Yeah. I was big on that.
That's such a Mark thing to do.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll just sit there, read results. I mean, whatever, even like heat results and velocity.
Oh my god.
I remember reading a lot of results of Paul London matches that I never got to see.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah. Velocity and Paul London are synonymous.
Yeah, man.
I was heartbroken for that guy because I was always like, whenever you see a new name, like if you were like into it enough to see like the names in OVW, the Randy Ortons and Brock Lesnar's, to know Paul London existed. And then like to come up, and then he's relegated to Velocity.
There's a lot of TNA guys too, like the Alex Shelley's, the Chris Sabins, even
oh my god, Strictly Velocity.
Like a big degree where it's like there's these guys where if it was now, they would be the guys. Like they're the guys who, if you actually talk to the Will Ospreys and like the guys right below the Omegas, they're all inspired by these fucking TNA guys who currently would have been very famous, but they just weren't because they were on TNA while WWE was like the only show in town,
If I had a couple more of these, I'd argue you on that Will Ospreay versus Omega and who's on top. But
no, I don't mean who's on top. Well, because we could talk about that, but I mean in terms of influence, Omega's been doing it longer. So he looks back and he probably goes like, oh, Kurt Angle or whoever he likes, whereas Will Ospreay is looking back and going AJ Styles,
I think Ospreay,
Christopher Daniels or whatever the fuck.
Osprey is in the position that Kenny Omega was in about 2.5, 3 years ago. He's one of the best in the world, and you just want to see where he goes next. Everything he does at the moment is brilliant. You're pleased. But you want to see where he goes next. I think Will Ospreay could be one of the best in the world, one of the best of all time. Like he's
Oh, dude, Will Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world right now. Yeah,
it's so exciting.
Also, in terms of age, you go, well, this is the best, because I remember the transition too, like where he was the best, light heavyweight, and just as he was gaining that bulk, 2 years ago or whatever, and then
he's a heavyweight now. Technically,
oh my god, yeah. I mean, then you see the matches with Shingo and stuff, and you go, oh, he's better than everyone.
NJPW is kind of that just means he's in the main event. He's not in the
mid-card
type with the Super
guy,
Juniors.
But I think the thing
he bulked up,
in terms of like top guy or however you want to view it, I think the thing with
he could totally be a top guy.
I think of course he could be anybody's top guy. He's the best wrestler in the world, and he's better on the mic than almost anybody. At least anybody on top, definitely anybody on top, right? Aside from like MJF or whatever, he's very. I think Ospreay is very good on the mic. But I think the thing Omega has is its history is on his side in terms of the legitimate truth. I mean, if you lived it, which you did, I'm sure. Is this Omega thing was okay? He wins the G1, he fights Okada, and then you hear about this match the next morning that guys live were saying was the best match ever, and you're going okay, and then you check it out, and then they top it a few months later.
Exactly how it went. I was told about it before. I had to go back and watch.
Of course,
never watching this shit live.
No, and then you have a year of legitimately watching the best matches you've ever seen by this guy who, I mean, he has a G1 tournament, and it's like, how am I seeing 3 of the greatest matches I've ever seen in 8 days or whatever? Like it was just
as an American wrestling fan, he made me buy into everything Shingo Takagi does because I was unfamiliar with his run in. He was in All Japan prior to this. I think he made a name for himself.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Like he's huge in some other promotion before he jumped to New Japan, and so I don't know any of that.
No.
Ospreay got me to believe in him because that was a 5-star match, like Meltzer said. It was
for sure.
Shit.
Well, and then the thing Omega did was he made Chris Jericho show up, and all of a sudden the game has changed in a way. I mean, it did really mean a lot when that happened. That was, dude, I remember watching that Wrestle Kingdom. I'm gonna fucking watch this one. I missed last year's. I'm watching this one. I missed last year's.
I watched both, and bro, I'll be straight up with you. I fell asleep before the Jericho match. That's what time it comes on in America?
Of course, yeah.
Trying
Wrestle
my
Kingdom
best.
goes so long too. Yeah.
Oh man, but you know what? When it went back to streaming it, I was so appreciative for the fact that it was long as shit and had all those quality matches.
For sure. But so anyway, so then okay, Jericho, that happens. Then it's this New Japan ROH show, which, like, say what you want. When tickets went on sale, it was the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are going to be there. And they sold the fucking garden out. And I promise you, this was Omega and the Bucks. Also, at the time, what was happening was, like, they got Pops, which you go, oh, okay, they got Pops as a wrestling company. Oh, okay, they got T-shirts in Hot Topic. It's like, no, this is game-changing shit.
This is 2020. This isn't 2021, but this is a few years ago.
Yeah,
this shit matters so much.
This is, dude. We've had to the point where I've been brainwashed as a wrestling fan. I'm going, oh, what's my favorite wrestling moment? And I'm trying to think of like a WrestleMania moment instead of like actually looking at wrestling as what it is.
Such
like
a valid
an entire
point.
History where there's so much of it, and
it could be on Raw, it could be on TV, it could be on pay-per-view, it could be on some bullshit promotion that only exists in your town.
Yep, and this one guy, and I'm telling you, it's this one guy because everybody flocked to him to make everything else happen. This one guy, Kenny Omega, made AEW happen. And now you see what's happening. And yeah, sure, it's like, the truth of it all is like not that many people watch wrestling in general. And it is like a little over 1 million every week watching. And how much is that really? But in terms of wrestling fandom, this is the size of it now. And he's a guy who changed it. It's insane. So yeah, Ospreay might be better in the ring and he might win whatever thing and do this and do that with whatever. But it's like everything changed with this dude. It's nuts.
I'd say,
And that's why people go, Roman Reigns or Ken? And I go, what the fuck? Dude, they pushed Roman Reigns down our throat for like 9 years, is it? It's going to be 10 years.
How long did it take to get to a compelling Roman Reigns story?
And it's not compelling. It's slow. It's you can't fuck it up because
it's also better by comparison because you're giving us Dookie on the Monday night shows. Of course. And I couldn't really tell you, besides like maybe Rick Boogs coming out doing an intro, what else is interesting on SmackDown? Like, you might like a wrestler here and there, but, and I think a lot of wrestling fans miss this. The random matches they throw together on a SmackDown, a Raw, whatever, they're not as interesting as the matches on AEW. For whatever reason, the booking works. Like, I'm not saying, I've said this forever. I like AEW, but I don't think they're perfect. There's a lot of complaints I have on them too, but I have so many more on WWE, and you also have come to expect so much more from a company that dominates and has the resources they do, and they give us poopy television. That's why I buy retro t-shirts from 2000 and 2001. Like, I'm not, like, Extreme Rules with the green and purple logo is Dookie to me.
Well, it's all very, I don't even know the word for it, but it's devoid of a human feeling. And so, like, when you watch AEW, you actually feel like the temperature of bodies almost, you feel like,
I feel like they want to give me what I want, where WWE is like, you want that?
Well, yeah, and it's also inconsequential, and it's like, okay, we're opening the show with this match, but now a wonky finish happens, so you're going to get an even better match later with these same guys, but then an even wonkier finish happens.
But then you're going to see 6 straight matches of the same people brought on through the weeks in different capacities, and after all of that, how could it possibly be interesting?
Yeah, and it's all inconsequential. None of it matters in any
That's a really good word
way.
to use. Jamie, write that down. I don't know how to spell that, but that's a good word. Inconsequential, irregardless. Because that I could sum Raw up in that whole thing. Inconsequential. There's really no stakes. Nothing matters. Nothing ever fucking matters. Like, Seth Rollins is still gonna have a loud suit. Bobby Lashley's still gonna dominate. Goldberg's still gonna disappoint you no matter where he's booked.
Yeah, it feels like watching Lost if you know what happens at the end already. But
it's
you're
like
still watching
Lost
it,
if
and
they were on a permanent writer's strike.
Yeah, you're like, none of this is gonna pay off. None of this fucking matters. We're all dead.
Elias?
I think that's the story, is that anyone watching is actually dead.
They murdered Elias in the back, didn't they? They killed him. They're like, Elias is dead, and the payoff was they murdered him.
Yeah. What's that Roddy Piper quote? Just when you think you have the answers, I change the questions.
Oh, yeah, that's what CM Punk said when he made his debut on a talk show for WWE.
Oh, gosh, that was brutal. Yeah, man, that was hell.
Was it also awful because of the lighting was like you couldn't see his face?
It was just all bad. It's
like, yo, thanks for getting close to the camera. You fucked up the whole shot. Give us the ice cream now. I don't really think you answered favorite wrestlers. Do you have any?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so like first was Stone Cold. Stone Cold got me into wrestling.
Fake Diesel, fake Razor.
Yeah, I really liked Austin and Mankind. And then after that, it became, then I just started diving into it, so I liked Benoit, Jericho, Mysterio, Angle, Brian Pillman going back, Ricky Steamboat going back, Ric Flair.
So you as a young fan dove into the old stuff?
Oh, yeah, I bought up all the DVDs quick.
As a young fan, I hated old stuff. I love it now. I hated it as a kid. I don't know.
Wow, I loved it. But, I didn't see any of, like, the NWA stuff. None of that.
Yeah.
Besides, like, the Ric Flair DVD, the Dusty Rhodes DVD or whatever. Yeah. Then I was, middle school, I was really into TNA. I really liked AJ Styles, Samoa Joe.
Were you just like me and Brian, if he hadn't have, I'm just going to go with the rumor from last week that Brian died again. So fuck his marriage. He died. Were you like us where you were just really stoked to have an alternative that TNA was going to be fucking cool no matter what?
Well, I just thought the matches were shit I've never seen before.
6-sided ring. Give me all of that.
Oh, yeah, dude. And I look back on a lot of those matches and I go, if you did put them on AEW or whatever, they would be getting major praise weekly.
From 02 to
07, 08.
You could run all.
Red.
all the TNA matches would get over right now as live television.
Oh, dude, those X Division matches, and then even like the Abyss matches where it was just madness. People would be shitting their. I mean, TNA.
That's a guy I'd love to speak to. He's so underrated for like his mind and what he put his body through.
For sure. And the rumor that's apparently true that WWE wanted him, and he was like, "No, I like it in TNA," and you know, it was this.
I wouldn't doubt that because of his character, but him and Sanjay Dutt ended up there. I know Sanjay got let go. I don't know where Abyss ended up.
I don't know if he writes. I think he writes for them, or he's I don't know. What do you? Not a writer, but a producer.
That dude's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, he is, man. He's great.
The biggest gripe I could have on their backstage, like shit, like kayfabe aside, they love to hire TV Hollywood writers and not wrestling people. And AEW, on the other hand, is full of wrestling people. The guys we watched in our childhood, we feel better knowing matches are left up to a Jerry Lynn rather than knowing that some punk that wrote a movie from 2017 that bombed is now writing the storylines for Bobby Lashley, who's like a credible MMA guy who could beat damn near anyone's ass. Like, I don't like that. So I'm with you on the AEW Mark fandom. WWE definitely has the weakest show right now. We're actually all up Impact's dick right now because Impact Wrestling's been impressing the shit out of us. We had a referee on from last week. Bound for Glory is setting up to be a really good show. I don't know if you're one of those guys that's like, oh, LOL, Impact, but
no. The other guys on the podcast do. I just think it's like, it's one of those empty things that people do.
It's been a thing on the internet for like 8 years.
You just go like, oh, it must be, and then you go, well, you didn't put any thought into it. It's like most opinions. It's just bad. It's a bad take.
I've said this
Impact sucks.
I've said this about Impact. I can't say it about WWE at all. I can't say it about AEW because they've only been around like 2 years. But Impact for the past 6 years, where I gave a solid effort on watching them, consistently every single night has gotten better. And you can't say that about hardly fucking any television show or any wrestling promotion. So I really got to give it to Impact because people don't give them enough props. Their shit going on right now is cool. Christian Cage versus Josh Alexander is going to be a cool match. I look forward to that. But that was last week. We were all hyping Bound for Glory. Who's some of like your least favorite wrestlers of all time? Yeah, I mean, if you name someone current, they might come after you.
Yeah, that's so tough because I mean, I like most wrestlers,
But it could just be the character. I mean, you're supposed to hate a heel.
Like the whole Corbin thing. I mean, there's like millions of Corbins. I feel like, especially like the last 15 years, right? Like
Corbin's an easily hateable character.
Andrade. I remember hating Andrade.
Oh yeah, Andrade's easily hateable still now. If you're not rooting for in-ring talent, Andrade's easily hateable. Yeah. I met Baron Corbin one time when he was in town for WrestleMania in Dallas. He came through a random hardcore show. Cool as shit, kind of egotistical, but he was cool to me. Shook my hand. I root well for that guy. He's done the most with what he's given.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He seems like he really loves the job, and that's awesome. And he's committed to it.
But he's always been hateable from day one.
Yeah, I just didn't like it very much. Like, that's all it is. It's very I don't feel like watching this right now. There's just been so many guys like that, I think, where it just feels empty,
Oh yeah. Pretty much like anyone that's not over on AEW, I feel that way. Because it's like, God, if you were in any other promotion, I'd probably root for you, but you're here. It's oversaturated, and you're taking up time when I could rather see like Ricky Starks or Darby Allin or Jack Evans, and it's you from
for sure. I think they'll get away from that. I think they'll get away from the factions eventually. I just think it's like you have to you kind of have to throw people out there and see what sticks. And factions are a good way to do that because then you're throwing out 8 guys at a time, and you're seeing the 2 that stick out of the 8. And then in a year, you push those 2 and fuck the other 6, But I don't know. Everything seems to be kind of working other than a few people, right? Like, do you hate the Dark Order? I like the Dark Order. I think they've won people over. I think there's at least 4 guys that are over. That's insane.
I'll be honest. I thought the Dark Order, they had a different theme song when they debuted that gimmick at All Out the first time, and it was kind of darker, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And they made the Human Throne. I was all in. When they did the fake punching, kind of out, they gained 1,000 members. I'm in. I don't care if Anna Jay makes sense in there. I love seeing her regardless. Who doesn't love seeing Anna Jay? She's gorgeous. But yeah, I love the Dark Order. I don't think that the teasing of a split made sense.
No,
But
I don't either.
I could go all day about AEW creative. I think that there's a bunch of slow burns that are kind of too slow. And it's funny. I feel like AEW is giving the fan everything they want. And I feel like even while they do that, it's not perfect. Because if you had all your wrestling toys set up in the ring and your fantasy booking, your whole fucking Tuesday night of playing with your toys, it's going to look like AEW Dynamite. But is it always the best for the viewer? Are we better off having unscripted promos than having a super scripted WWE promo? Because I know everyone that goes to AEW loves the freedom, loves the everything that the locker room does. And everyone complains about WWE, but I'll tell you this, as a fan, as just strictly a consumer of the product, it takes me out of it if you or stutter or stall at all in your promo or have no direction. And I find myself liking an NXT promo that's probably rehearsed and written 1,000 fucking times, re-recorded over and over. And I kind of feel bad about that because I feel like that's not the wrestling way. It's not going out there and calling it in the ring.
Yeah.
But it seems to do better for character development. I get taken out of it when you have a slip up. Like Darby Allin, I was already kind of convinced he was cool because I knew he had a rep from the Indies. You put him with Sting, it's kind of taking me out of it. I'm wondering how long that's going to go on before they finally take Darby away from Sting.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll turn either of them because I don't think anybody wants that. Let them fight. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
Face paint versus face paint.
It'll be like Ray and Dominic. What's going on with them now?
Oh my God. I love turtles. I don't care what anyone says. Darby Allin is the turtle kid from YouTube.
Oh, it's wild, man. Yeah.
Like that's only a rumor because the kid in the video is wearing face paint that's like out of place as well. But I'm going with that rumor forever. We've already gone over why Raw sucks. Do you ever play the video games or fantasy book your own wrestling?
I mean, I fantasy book my own wrestling when I watch it, I guess. I try to avoid, I think a lot of fans that watch like book in their head, and then when it doesn't happen like the way they booked it, or they go, well, I think this, and it's like, well, that's not a way to consume a thing, like
what makes you think you know best?
Your rewrite of it, that's fucking absurd. Like, I don't want that. It's like, did you like it or no? But people don't even know. They go, here's my opinion, and then they rewrite a script and go, see, and I go, that's not your opinion, that's your fan fiction. Exactly. What was the question?
No, that was the answer. It's like, have you ever fantasy booked Raw?
I think I don't
fantasy book, but I'm totally guilty of it when it comes to the video game.
Well, I don't play video games really. I'll play some old games, but wrestling games I haven't played in a long time. I used to. I loved them. And then
that's how you have a girlfriend. That's cool. What's it like?
Yeah, I don't play games. Games make me nauseous for the most part. I get dizzy and I fucking suck at them. And like, I remember Grand Theft Auto because I played Grand Theft Auto, and then that was all I would play for like a long time.
I love it.
But then one of the games, I forget which one, I bought it, and you get in the car, and it was like it felt heavy, like it was hard to steer, and I was like, fuck these games, and so I stopped. Everything got more difficult to play, and I have like really bad coordination and shit.
Did you ever play Grand Theft Auto online?
No, I've never done any sort of online game.
I live on that game online, and I bully people till they log off. It is like the most hostile, toxic environment ever. Like, I'll just send you 1,000,000 kissy faces till you call me a homophobic slur, and then I'll report you to Xbox and get you banned.
Yeah, I also think it's something where if you're gonna get into it, you have to be able to
lots of time
well, not even lots of time, just speak out loud freely and get excited freely. Like, I can't be flipping out in my apartment, about a thing. And
I mean, the kids are screaming in my apartment. I might as well scream about Grandma's Muffins 42 trying to kill me when I'm cruising down the street. Yeah, dickhead.
Yeah, and I'm just bad at shit. Like, even as a kid, like I didn't like playing missions in games. I just liked wandering because I was going to fail the mission, So a lot of cheat codes. I like Donkey Kong Country, whatever those are. The things that it's like simple
platform games. Oh,
I fuck with them all day. But
Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank,
love Crash Bandicoot. There was another for
Jack
N64.
and
Banjo
Daxter,
Kazooie was pretty
Banjo
good.
Kazooie,
That's kind of like that, right?
the exact same shit. Yeah,
Dude, even
platform
like
games.
Lion King for Sega Genesis. I was big on Lion King
Yo,
and Aladdin.
Lion
Yeah,
King and Aladdin for the Sega
yeah.
Genesis, Super
I have
Nintendo,
them for
epic.
PlayStation. Yeah, but I don't play them. But I have it. They
Also, Toy
released them for
Story.
PlayStation. Yeah,
Those games are so epic. I'll
yeah,
still
man.
play the Toy Story game from '96.
Yeah, good shit. What else did I play? You know, I mean, I played like the SmackDown vs. Raws and stuff, but like the 2K, I never played any of the 2Ks. No.
Oh, dude, no, you got a fantasy book, man. You go universe mode. You can like create your own AEW show and put Malachi Black on there and change his name. It's dope.
I've seen that, and you can like download people's creations, right? Everything is the
Oh, I
Sims now.
have 3 different Benoits, and we have a Father of the Year championship. He's the permanent champ.
Wow. And you play online with friends and shit?
You can play online. I fantasy book a little bit, so my universe is pretty unique. I have a stable with Chris Benoit, Finn Balor, and Kane called the Demons from Hell.
My goodness.
That's a cool one. I love that one a lot.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty
you
tough.
can like download new uniforms. So you can make right to censor and then take your aggression out on them. They also like, I don't know if you heard, they failed at the last game. There was like a shit ton of glitches. It was a piece
I
of
did hear
shit when it
about
dropped.
that. Yeah, yeah.
It was fucking pathetic, dude. Like I could suplex someone, they might fall out the ring like for no reason.
Oh, that's bogus. Yeah, fuck that.
It's stupid. All right, last 2 questions, and I'll let you get out of here because I'm running low on money, and the appearance fee you told me is way too high. Top 5 AEW wrestlers currently in the company. I mean, there's hardly any former people unless you want to like bring back Jimmy Havoc. He's working at a DHL somewhere if you're concerned.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw people shitting on him about that. I forget the whole situation, but he was a violent man to people, right?
He did something bad to women, so we probably
Yeah.
can't praise him anymore.
No, you can't, right? So adios. But who currently? I do think Kenny Omega is still the best wrestler.
Numero
in the world.
uno.
Yeah, I do. Now that Bryan Danielson's there, man, I mean, it's hard to not say Bryan Danielson or an Adam Cole, but I'm going to go with Kenny Omega, Phoenix.
Ooh, controversial.
MJF.
Ooh.
Hangman Adam Page, now that he's back, but he was, I mean, dude, to get a crowd behind you like that, very impressive.
They care about him more than anyone else.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Their best shot at homegrown talent.
Yeah. Dude, personally, I love Jungle Boy. I know it's not all there for, but
Maybe
he's
even
young,
more
and I like that. It's the first time, because, like you watch, again, as a wrestling fan, you watch these old, like documentaries or these old shoots where they talk about like, oh, this guy, like all the girls were chasing him, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like they'll talk about guys like Bobby Eaton like they were teeny boppers, and you go, that's not a thing that a wrestler could be. And then you see Jungle Boy and you go, I kind of get this vibe where it's like it hasn't happened. That's the other thing. Like we say it, but it hasn't happened. Like we go like, oh, the teenage girls love him, but it's like, no, there's no teenage girls there cheering him. It's just the teenage girl in us, But
He
but
took
that's good
Anna Jay
enough.
off the market. That counts.
Yeah. So I mean, so how many did I name so far?
That's bigger than a title in my book.
Yeah. I mean, who's not doing it for me currently? And again, I do love AEW, but Chris Jericho not doing it for me, dude. I went to Grand Slam and the Newark show the week before, and the week before it was Jericho did a whatever, but Jericho had like a tag match with Hager, and I just walked around during it.
His programs have been lackluster because he's not focused right now.
Well, and again, when he came in, I thought it was hilarious, dude. I like when they were doing like where the inner circle was kind of like a Spinal Tap. I thought that was some of the best shit I've seen in years. In terms of like wrestling storylines and whatnot, but he doesn't do it for me currently.
ATM at the moment.
CM Punk, it's interesting. I do love him and I like the matches, and I've seen all 3 so far, and if it's a storyline, I like it where he has gotten better each match. If he's actually planning to do that, I mean, how brilliant, right? But I do like that like more and more of his moves are coming back. I think that is planned. I do not like the promos as much, but I'm fine with it. And I actually think he has to do this because the character that he is, the thing that we believe that he is, can't just be thrown into the main thing without look what happens.
Struck me as cool yet.
He debuts. He's the top guy. Let's say this is it. He debuts. He's the top guy. He's in the biggest feud, right? that lasts for like 4 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. And then where do you go with him? It's like people might reject him, but now you build him, and it's better to go like, we haven't gotten a great Punk yet, than saying we got the great Punk and now what? It's like, it's gonna build, it'll get there. You're gonna have this venomous Punk at some point, and you're gonna freak out, and you're gonna feel like he deserves it, and he didn't cut the line. And dude, that shit matters to people. It's weird what matters now, you know?
No, I feel
You can't just write storylines and go like, here. It's like, we see all the holes. We see what the storylines mean. Like, we see your intentions in the storylines. And so we have to also be along with your intention, you know?
I want to be the AEW fan that says, yeah, give Punk whatever he wants. He wants to work with the young talent. He's gotten that. But if he would have returned to WWE, they wouldn't have him constantly working young talent in any capacity, because it's not fucking interesting.
No.
We want to see him do a million other programs. Like, I guess it's cool, you know, put it in the record books. He wrestled Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs is cool. In any other capacity, I'd root for Will Hobbs in a win. But in this, it's just like, is it cool? Was Christian's return cool? Is it cool now? I'm lost on that. I don't feel like it's cool anymore.
Christian's return would have never been cool, though. That's the thing. No, not even
cooler in Impact than he is on AEW.
Yeah, and I think Christian's a great wrestler, but it's cool in terms of, it's a weird kind of cool. It's a kind of cool where you go, you know what? Good for him. I hope he gets some matches out of this and gets some respect that he deserves. It's like, it's not like, holy shit. It's like, good for him. I hope we can all agree now that he is very good. It's just like a nice thing, but it's not an actual reaction.
You deserve it.
Yeah. With the CM Punk thing, it's like you get this moment, but also he needs to get the ring rust off. And, you know, okay, throw him in with Omega, and then it's not amazing. Then where the fuck do you go?
It's Janet Jackson syndrome. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
I mean, you wrestled a few like low card guys in AEW. That's cool. You did the go to sleep. You brought back the elbow drop. That's cool. But like, is Punk going to be interesting if he just enters a program with the top guy? And like, I don't think he's going to get the title shot. I think that's more like Adam Cole. So he enters into a top program with someone, and like, what are the stakes? What's cool about it? Like, I'm really starting to get confused and wondering, like, did we bring CM Punk back the right way? Like, how am I already over this dude and I just wanted him back for 7 years?
I think
it's like when you finally get the girl to like you, and now you have her, you slept with her, it's like, God, I'm over her. Now I'm thinking about her sister.
I think it's going towards MJF. I think that's part of the reason Punk comes out and kisses the ass of the location, and MJF comes out and completely shits on the, like, you know, it's like Punk is doing cheap pops, and MJF is doing cheap heat, and I think it's kind of intentional. And I think
find someone on the roster with a dead relative, and MJF will make fun of them.
Yeah.
How long until MJF insults the legacy of Brody Lee?
Oh gosh, I know.
Is that the only one that's untouchable?
It's gonna be so cringe. But you know, it's gonna get to a point where it is MJF and CM Punk, and you're gonna go, oh fuck, the whole time. Finally, that's why Darby's feuding with MJF right now. You know, it'll all work out.
The most important question I could ask you in this entire interview that's wrestling themed: top 5 drugs you would do with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh gosh, nothing hard.
So
you go, like, number one, you smoke weed with him, right? You smoke weed with him.
All right, that's barely anything. That's a gateway to carpentry, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. So you do that for sure. Then you say ayahuasca, because he'll be sitting there purging, you know? That's on him. You don't experience that. You might be in the same room, but you're not, you know?
You're not in the same mind space as him.
Yeah, exactly. Then,
I bet you he drinks that ayahuasca and Sherry is sitting right next to him. Too far? Am I going too far? Is this insensitive? Sorry, Jake. I love you.
That's the other thing. I don't know 5 drugs, you know?
Weed is weed a drug? People don't even call it a drug anymore. PCP. When I was 17, we used to huff Lysol. I guess you could do that.
There we go. Oh, you know what? I would
Duster. I feel like Jake would be the type to, like, as a backup, have a couple of those cans of compressed air to.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I might do that with the man, right? That'd just make him slow talk to me. I think I'd also I would do coke with Jake.
I feel like Jake would know where to get coke in every city.
I think
That's
Jake,
valuable to me on the road.
I think you see Jake now and you go like, well, it's not Jake, it's something else. But I think cocaine is like what music was to Bernie on Weekend at Bernie's or whatever the hell. Like, I think if you give Jake cocaine, you're like, oh my God, this is like 1989 Jake Roberts.
You're just flipping the switch.
Yeah, he's telling stories. There's life in him. He's not coughing.
The coke just opens up his sinuses.
Yeah. He's just he becomes the snake again. And I just wouldn't drink with him. I know that.
Where's Leroy? I thought his name was Damien. Fucker's name is Leroy.
Yeah, because I've seen video of him drunk, and I don't want to have to like hold up a guy that heavy and frail.
That's a good point.
No, none of that.
Did you happen to see The Rock rapping with Tech 9? It came out last week.
I did. Well, so I remember that it was on like one of the WWE Volume albums, and he had like a pie song.
Pie, yeah.
About pie. I remember that, and I liked that as a kid.
As a kid.
Yeah, so I didn't listen to the Tech 9 part. I know Tech 9 is good. Right, Tech 9 is good, right? People say.
We can collectively say Tech 9 is good.
Yeah, but I heard the Rock part, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I don't know why you do a thing like that. Okay,
so you're gonna be probably, besides Brian, everyone's shitting on it. Nobody thought it was cool.
None of it is good rap. I mean, it's not good rap at all. It's
more of a chant. It's like you got a guy who does promo work on the microphone. You don't have to give him much. I assume Tech would ghostwrite it, so it wouldn't shock me if Tech just said, hey, say this. I thought it sounded good because it sounds kind of like a war chant. He can say it. You need to say it with conviction. He did that, and then they move on. I also have only seen the video that's the promo package of him working out with the song playing. Someone said there's a video of him doing hand motions of him rapping.
I've seen that.
That might kill it.
Kind of like a Rampage promo. Like there's electricity happening and stuff, Yeah. And I feel like there's not enough words. Like he's kind of jumping from the rhymes almost too slowly and quickly. Like there's not enough words in between the words that rhyme, but he's taking too long to get there somehow. It's just like bad. It's like when people go like, oh yeah, Will Smith used to rap, and you go, you think of what that would sound like. That's what it sounds like. Because Will Smith is better than people think he would sound like if you haven't heard Will Smith rap. Will Smith is like a decent rapper.
He knows how to do it. He had some good songs.
Yeah, this sounds like a guy who, he goes, I hate Will Smith's raps. You go, no, you hate The Rock. You don't know many Will Smith songs,
This has been brilliant. Shouts to Trevor from StreamYard who helped us get here with the customer support.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you, Trevor.
I informed Trevor that you were famous, and he didn't
you texted me that. It's so funny.
He didn't really seem to be that excited. He said, like, oh, nice. Just make sure if he logs in on a different device, blah, blah, blah. Okay, come on, Trevor. It's fucking Scott Chaplain. Get stoked.
Yeah, dude, Trevor. What are we doing?
It's fucking dope. Also, shouts to my boy Justin Jack on tour with Ballyhoo. I'm about to record. You all good is what I said. He said, just murdered a lady a couple hours ago. All good, though. No one will find her where I left her. LOL. Also, I'm starving. Tacos? So shouts to him. Yeah, check him out. Scott Chaplain, I am so stoked you were here, dude. You were the perfect guest. We went 2 fucking hours with you,
Jesus
dog.
Lord, buddy.
Oh man, we are notorious for getting fiancés and girlfriends pissed off at our guests. That's what we do. If you were watching this live on a Friday night, and you were in the New York area, you can see this motherfucker in all sorts of clubs around New York.
Yeah, okay? Man.
So go give him your hard-earned money. He needs it more than you do. He's also funnier than you, so he deserves that money more than you.
Sure.
So check him out. Scott, if I wanted to harass you on social media, where do I find you?
Scott_Chaplain on Instagram and Twitter, and Wrestle Roasts on Twitter.
And Wrestle Roast is fucking hilarious because you guys
Oh,
go
thank
through
you,
and
man,
pick a
yeah.
different wrestler to make fun of. The Gangrel shit was funny.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
My job for the past month has been to turn Brian into a Wrestle Roast fan. So I've been slipping him little liners like, yo, they said Chris Benoit left this world the way Gangrel enters it.
So dumb.
That's the shit I'm gonna
Yeah,
catch him
yeah.
with, dude. He's gonna love it.
So stupid.
If you're looking
Thank
for
you.
Brian, I will flash these socials quickly. Make sure you check out Brian's Grinder at Butt Love and Bride Boy. I made sure to add that account on there. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at iHateTheScene. Twitter is at Scene Radio, since we said an inexplicable shit and got kicked off our other Twitter account. Every Friday night, you can catch us on twitch.tv/iHateTheScene. You can catch us on facebook.com/iHateTheScene, but I said some political shit that got us booted. Make sure you all get vaccinated. YouTube.com/c/iHateTheScene is the most important one. If you don't follow, I can't monetize it and I can't feed my family. And so children are starving because you're fucking selfish. Subscribe now or follow or whatever politically correct term they changed it to. You can find all those links and more at iHateTheScene.com. Also on our Instagram, there's a sweet little link tree if you want to find all these links like really easily instead of me shouting them at you. They're on the Instagram. You can also find my OnlyFans where I have a video of me butt fucking Brian's corpse because I've been telling people he's dead. Since he's getting married on Saturday, his life's going to be over. I mean, dude, yeah. We'll save that for later. There's no one cool performing at his wedding. There's no fucking...
Why are you not at his wedding?
That is a great question, Scott. I'm glad you asked that.
And then he's just not at the wedding at all.
That is a great question. That is a, you know what? That
Crazy.
is a million. That is the, how much is a Southwest flight? That is the $286 question, Scott. You were brilliant for that.
He should have paid for you, man.
We will be asking Brian that next week and every week that follows.
There we go. Yeah, come on.
You can catch us. Who's the guest? Who do we? You said we got. Oh, John Gruden. Cancel John Gruden is going to be on to explain all those emails and why our season will suck. So follow us, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Any last words before we get out this hoe? There's also cake and punch available in the backstage area, so don't leave super quickly because I want to get up on that. Last words?
Peace.
Peace, love, and...
Yeah, you know, all the good things, man.
And Finn Balor and whatever motivational shit Jerry Springer said at the end of the episode.
Because you might as well be walking.
I shouldn't have muted you so quickly. That wasn't fair.
I knew I was fucked.